Okay, I don't want to replicate someone else, who constantly tweets. So, I love my own joke, don't I? Ron, I have to thank you. Let's start with you for the wonderful service you've given to APA, and particularly in the membership department. Over the last 3 years, we've seen an exponential increase in membership. We are now at, as you said, the highest level of members of the APA since 2002. And largely it's part to Dr. Bailey and his committee, which some of you are sitting in this audience, for saying it's not just members within the United States, it's the members outside the United States. I come from South Africa. I believe in the international world and the global world coming together, because each and every one of us adds a strength and a perspective that someone else may not know. And I have to thank you for really pushing how do we bring in our international brethren and colleagues who are doing the research, who are doing the treatments, and are doing the prevention and recovery services or wraparound services out into the communities. And just listening to the 3 speakers today, and I really have to thank Dr. Lolis Bugwalo and Wise for giving us something that I think we sometimes don't quite think about in our busy lives, but in some ways it's exactly what we are. In the United States, we talk about the art and science of medicine and of psychiatry. I know many sometimes in my organization feel we've gone too much now to the biological side, and then we also know from the psychotherapy side, they say we're not doing enough. And you can clearly see more and more that the science shows if you do psychotherapy with your medications, you get a lot better overall care for that patient who then goes back into their communities, back to their families, and lives the life that they want to live. So I want to thank you, because you sitting here in this audience is in some ways responsible because of Dr. Ron Bailey and his committee saying we're going to move. I have to thank John Fanning, Stephanie Auditor, who are part of the membership department, but there's one other person I have to really thank. Dr. Kendo, hi. Got you on that. I thought I was going to say Ricardo Morris, but I thought you'd never get to you first. But I have to thank Dr. Maria Rakendo for one reason. She is an internationalist. She's walked the walk, talked the talk. She goes to Mozambique, where she's got one of the best thriving projects that country has done, that is actively saving lives. And it's been done with the resources of that country. It's all very well for us to say, let the Americans come and bring the money, dump our system on it, and then when we leave, what happens? You have to go back to the lives of what that country has to exist. You've got to get that country to begin to buy in. And she has really done that. And I'm really going to miss you as my president. But as I've said to her, she's got 3 more years of service she's got to do. Past president on the executive committee and 2 more on the board. She ain't getting away from any of us in this room. I'm going to make sure she comes back here to this meeting. I have to thank Ricardo Warriors. Where is Ricardo? I saw him. There we go. Because in some ways, Ricardo, many of you know, because you've spoken a lot to him, but Ricardo is essentially the heart of the international office here at APA. And it is a one-person job, I have to tell you, that he's doing. I know, Ricardo, it should be a 5-person job. I'd love to be able to give you those 5, and hopefully in time we'll begin to increase it. But each and every one of you and your colleagues, if we get more to come to our meetings, we get more of the Americans to come to your meetings, because they begin to interact here with you at this meeting and see the value of international psychiatry. We live in a world today that politically is fraught with tension across the world. And I have to thank you for all coming here. I know that with the bans of the country bans, the visas, that it was a tough decision for you all to make. One, for support those countries that are being unnecessarily sort of pulled out and victimized. Some because you're worried about would I come through and the immigration service would have stopped you and then basically sent you back if they felt that they needed to do that. But the fact that you're here sends a very strong message not only to the Americans who are looking for the courage to say enough is enough, and you being here gives them that courage to do it. But also it sends a message, because when you come through and they ask you, what are you coming through, and you say the American Psychiatric Association, you're giving two messages. One, mental health is around everywhere, and we're going to come into this country to talk about it as well. But also, that despite any proclamation or executive order, we are all going to stand together. And I hope you know, certainly under Dr. Okenda's tenure, that we have stood by you and your countries when you need us. So I thank you all for doing that. I have to thank Dr. Bugra, and I have to thank Dr. Herman, the leaders of the WPA. I believe in the WPA. It's a very important organization that keeps us all together on the common things that we all know. We've got to speak to governments, and to the populations in each of our country. So I urge you all get involved there as well. Let me add by saying we are going to be seeing, hopefully we'll see you at the convocation ceremony this evening. If you're not a fellow yet, please start thinking about becoming a fellow. And if you are already a fellow, let's get you up to the distinguished fellow and then the life fellow, as we move forward. Dr. Budwala, thank you for all your support that you've given to me at GAP. And I have to call out one other person, and that is Dr. Elliot Sorrell, who's been a friend, mentor of mine since I was a pup starting in my residency. Thank you all for coming, and let's have a wonderful time and just enjoy the conference. Give us feedback what would have been better for us to do to help you in the process, particularly as you knew this is a huge meeting and very complicated. I hope you all have the app, because that really has made it a lot easier for me to migrate through the whole system. Thank you all, and I have to thank, last but not least, our wonderful chair. Could you please stand up there? On the International Council. With that, Dr. Bailey, can I hand it back to you? Absolutely. Thank you.
As always, great comments by Saul. Wonderful points that I think that the issue about having an international perspective is great for all of us. I was remiss in one item, so thank you for giving me the mic back. I'd like to also brag on my people. I'd like to have all of the membership committee members who are present. Please stand and be recognized. All membership committee members.